So far this month, I had 3 major placements come out on 2 different albums. So today I'm going to show you 4 techniques that I use to produce for these big artists. I produced Twyami on Tyga's new album, and I produced What It Is and Refrigerated on OGZ's new album with features from Lefty Gunplay and Lud Tyler. They had both of these West Coast albums blown up on the billboards in Times Square, and being from New York, you know, I had to go get my pictures in. There's a reason my beats made it on these albums. So let's take a look at the techniques I'm using, and maybe you could try it out in your music. You'll see the first technique I use in all 3 of the placements. It's an arrangement choice I make to quickly grab an artist's attention and get them listening immediately. Take a listen to these beats. What do you notice about them? They all start with the drums and get into the beat immediately. Now, I'm not saying that applies to every single situation, but if you listen to my placements, the majority of them start with the drums. This attracts artists because they're looking for something to flow to. When you give them a drum beat off the first second, you already got them nodding their head. It's a huge asset to you to make beats that capture attention quickly like that. Artists go through hundreds of beats a day, so if you could be the one that stands out, you're already a step ahead. That's directly related to the next technique I'm going to show you, but honestly, if I had to pick one from the list today, this is probably going to be the most important one. Now, it's in all 3 placements again, but especially the one with Tyga. Your drums. If you want your beats to be taken seriously, your drums need to be crispy, they need to hit hard and have power, and they need to be mixed well. I have the perfect tool to make that possible in any beat, but first let's take a look at the project behind Twyami. So just take a listen to the beat here. And you quickly notice how open it is. It's really just a chord with some extra sounds, but the main thing carrying the beat is the drums here. And you'll see I have 2 different sections. Has a lot of bounce to it. And then I move over to this other section where we start to add a lot more elements. So in order for me to carry the beat with mainly just drums, I'm going to need some really high quality sounds. So for that, I went to my iconic drum kit. The kit itself has over 80 sounds. I use them in every single one of my placements. We hit this very unique situation over here where I use a different 808 from Iconic, and it sounds crazy. Just adds so much contrast in the drum pattern just by introducing that other 808. And it's such an interesting 808 sound. And the other thing about Iconic, all the sounds are already maxed out at 10, fully mixed, clean, crispy, hitting. Just throw them onto the beat and that's it. Link is down below. Use code TAKE10 for a little discount surprise for you. We got 2 more tricks to go over that I don't really see too many producers using. This next one is all about keeping the artist and the listeners interested. You don't want them getting bored of your music. So we're back in this session for Twyami, and this time I want to show you guys how I'm creating variation in different sections throughout the beat. Now, we already took a look at one of these examples, which was with the 808. Remember this switch up? But the main thing we're going to look at here is the music itself. So we have this. That's the main section. You can only play that over and over for so long. So at some point we have to add a different section, add some more variation. So I bring in this ARP along with an open hi-hat pattern and a percussion pattern. But we can only play that for so long. So after those 8 bars, now I want to bring in something completely different. I drop the Rhodes down an octave and I bring in a whole different loop that I did right here to play with the lower octave Rhodes. It's just creating those subtle changes that keep the listener interested. And then here, new 808 pattern, and we're introducing that ARP with the low octave Rhodes. We haven't heard that yet, so this is still new stuff that the listener is hearing for the first time, as well as this section. That's just the wah guitar. Usually in my beats, I like to have at least 3 to 4 different sections. You can see right here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're separated based on the melodic content, whether it's this ARP or this loop right here, or if it's a high or low octave Rhodes. And I'm also creating differences in the drums. Now we're in the project for What It Is. And you can already see the different things that I'm taking in and out of the beat here and there. We start again mainly with just some chords, and throughout the beat I add piano, some Rhodes sound, some string sound. And you'll notice I'm also taking out the strings there. And I know it doesn't really seem like such a big deal, but I seriously get a whole lot of beats that just sound like this over and over. Almost every 4 bars, but mainly every 8 bars, there's a change up in the song, and that really keeps an artist interested. By avoiding being repetitive, you're avoiding being boring, and that's exactly what you want. So here's Refrigerated, and again, you can see I have all these different sections in and out throughout the beat. We start very similar to what it is, just a Rhodes chord progression. Eventually I add arpeggio and a bell. Then I add this piano and take out the bell. New section, just like that. Take out the piano, add the string. Another new section. Also had change ups in the drums, so listen to this. I had a bass pattern like this. Then I introduced the 808. And I'm playing the bass in between the 808. You see it? Each 8-bar section has its own unique identity that isn't repeated over and over, whether it's with the music, with the drums, or combination of the two. If you need help learning how to create melodies so you could add variation in your beats, I made the Master of Melody course just for you. It covers sound selection, different styles of melody, and the different methods you can use to make them. It has over 60 minutes of course videos that have taught hundreds of producers around the world. Links are down below. Remember, use code TAKE10 for a secret discount. The last technique is something I wish producers tried out more often. You don't always need to use the 808 as your bass sound in a beat. Let's take a look at what it is and refrigerate it to see what I used instead. So here we are back in the what it is session. You'll see I have absolutely zero 808 patterns because I want to do something different with this beat. I decided to use a guitar bass. Just listen to it soloed. And I wanted to share this with you because I think most producers are thinking they have to use 808s in every single beat. You could have a trap beat without an 808. Like look at Blade Runner by Phoenix Flexin. That's another one that I did with just a guitar bass, no 808s whatsoever. And I kept it interesting by just adding a whole lot of movement to it. I'm not staying at just one root note. Like I'm dancing around different notes here. And you'll see it kind of sounds a little bit weak. So what I did was throw it into the mixer and add some distortion to it at a very low mix level just to saturate it, give it some more body, give it some more strength, and then you just throw the kick in there. And you could hear it adds a pretty good amount of low end to the beat. It doesn't always have to be guitar bass. Try it with just a synth bass. I did this technique 2 times on the same album. I'll show you the one for Refrigerated. Same thing, just a lot of movement in it. Same sound. So again, let's take a look at the actual pattern. This time I'm sticking a little bit closer to that root note of C sharp, but I'm still dancing around up and down with that bass. Added a little bit of distortion to it, added that kick. And that's how the main beat comes in. And then eventually I bring in that 808, but like I went over before, we're putting that bass sound in between the 808 hits just to really fill up that low end. Bringing the rest of the drums from the iconic drum kit. And it's hitting. Here's the original sound of the bass. I know it sounds kind of stupid, a little bit cheap too, but you know, if you know how to use it, putting that movement on it and mixing it the right way to make it sound more powerful, don't be afraid to try it out. When we look at all 4 techniques from today, the main idea is make beats that are different from the rest. I start with drums to catch attention quickly. I use the best quality kit so all my beats are crispy. I add variation so it's not boring, and sometimes I use sounds that aren't so common. You never have to worry about your beats sounding weak when you use the iconic drum kit. And check out the Master Melody course to step up your melody game. Remember, use code TAKE10 for a nice little discount. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video and comment what you want to see on the channel. It's Chambers, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.